Welcome everyone, it's Jeannie from A1 Vacuum and Sewing, and I am getting ready to stitch out Rain Boot 2. This is the fabric that you're going to need, your background fabric. It should be stabilized with Shape Flex. You're also going to need the boot fabric, which is right here. I've already stabilized mine with the vinyl. I haven't put my Shape Flex on yet, so I'm going to heat up my iron right now, and I'll put a piece of Shape Flex, although you really don't have to. I put the Shape Flex on the back when I feel like there's going to be shadowing, meaning I can see the fabric below it coming through, or if it's really light colored fabric, then I'll do it. Those are the times I'll do it. You also have your flower fabric, which is the white fabric. We're going to put Shape Flex on that. That's instructions too, and you want to do that because look, you can already see the pink coming through. So those two pieces we're going to put Shape Flex on. You're going to have the bird fabric. So there's two different bird fabrics, the two different yellows. And you're also going to need green, which I have right here. And you're going to need some black leather. And I usually don't cut down those pieces until I am ready to use them. I'm also going to be doing this in my 8x12 hoop. So I'm using my 8x12 hoop, and I'm using muslin as my backing, and I am just going to go ahead and hoop it. I'm going to move this up and then do my next hooping. And that way I can maximize my stabilizer use. So let me go ahead and hoop this first so I could get this out of the way. I'm just going to put this up here. I know you can't see the whole thing, but you have about it, this is all going to go underneath. And there's about an inch. You have about an inch of no-sew right about here. So we'll have plenty of room. I'm going to go ahead and get this in my hoop. Go ahead and pull out any wrinkles that you might have. And I just kind of pull inward. I'm going to put this on my machine to get it out of the way, and then we're going to do some pressing. Okay, because I already have vinyl on the back of this piece, I can't just put this down on my wool mat because it could stick. So these are the two pieces that we need to put some Shape Flex on. So I'm going to put this by my machine. And I have a whole bag of extra pieces, random pieces that were left over, and I keep them all because they come in handy, like in times like this. This will be perfect. So I'm going to go ahead, and there's no front or back to this, so I'm just going to put it here. Let me cut it down to size. Bumpy side to the fabric. I needed to check that really quickly just in case. The worst thing is getting fusible on your iron. That is never any fun. So that piece is ready to go. And let's see what else I have in here. I have all of these big pieces. So we'll go ahead and use this. Or you know what? I'm going to put this down. I'm going to put this down. And then I'm going to put this down. And then I'll cut away the parts that don't get fused. That is ready. This is ready, and we are ready to go. Let's go on over to the machine. So let's go ahead and load our design. I'm going to hit the home button, which will clear my screen. And next thing we're going to do, let's go into embroidery. We are doing, what are we doing? Okay, we are doing, took me a minute right there. Rain Boots 2, which means we're doing Orange Peel 2 is our embroidery, our quilting design. Orange Peel 2. Quilting Orange Peel 2. Very first one. The size we are selecting is going to be 6 by 8. So let's get, and there'll only be one 6 by 8 right here. Go ahead and set that. We're going to add, and we are going to add our design, which is Rain Boot 2. Designs, quilt, and let's look for Rain Boots 2. Right here. And Rain Boots 2, we're going to go ahead and set it. Let's see if there's any special instructions for Rain Boots 2. Okay. It just says right here, align block embroidery file with the quilting design, so both are centered, so we don't have to move that boot at all. We're just going to say embroidery. And let me pick the right size hoop because I had my 5 by 7. I'm going to go into my settings, choose my 8 by 12. I just like to do that. And you can see there's a ton of room left over. So I am in my embroidery screen. I have my hoop on my machine. I'm going to go layout, move, and I'm going to scoot this all the way to the top and say okay. And first thing we're going to do is we are going to do our placement stitch for our batting. Color does not make a difference. I still have my dark gray. And I'm going to grab my batting fabric and my background fabric, and I'm going to spray both. Let me go ahead and lay down the batting. I'm going to do the tack down and trim. And then I'm going to do my quilting with the green thread. You could choose something else. It's not a perfect match with that, with the background fabric, but it'll be some nice, pretty contrast. It's pretty close. Here it is. Doesn't that look good? Looks great. And then trim your batting around that stitch. Okay, I'm going to skip the next step, which is the placement stitch. So I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to go to the tack down stitch and let me lay down my fabric. I already sprayed it. Last boot I did, I forgot to, and if you're ever short, like the Shape Flex, don't worry about it going edge to edge, because again, you're going to have about an inch. You'll have about an inch of extra fabric around the whole thing. I'm going to do my tack down, and I'm going to change my thread right now because I do have that charcoal gray in there. Going to do the green. This is going to do the tack down, and I'm going to use it to do my quilting too. There we go. Tack down stitch first. And then just hit start again and let it do the quilting. I'm going to hit start and let it do the quilting now. after it's done with the quilting, we are going to stitch the placement line for the boots. Color doesn't make a difference. We can leave this same color in. But we are going to lay down this. Oh, doesn't that just look so cute together? We are going to lay this fabric down. I'm going to give it a little shot of spray to the back. I'm just going to hit the start button, do the placement line for the boots. My fabric is sprayed. I'm just going to go ahead and lay it down. Color does not make a difference again. So let me look at my instructions and just make sure that it says do the tack down, and color does not make a difference. I'm just going to go ahead and do my tack down. And then this is step number 2 that we're on right now. We're going to trim it close to the stitch line, and then we're going to do the satin stitch outline detail. So get your scissors ready to trim these up. Go ahead and trim. And then you're going to change the thread color because you're going to do the satin stitch. And it wants you to put in that like matching pink color. That is going to be in the Silky Cotton thread kit. All right. Slide your hoop back on. Do your satin stitch around the boots. That's going to be 5 minutes of stitching. And then after you do this satin stitch, you're going to be using the dark gray again, and we're going to stitch the boot label placement line, and then we're going to do the boot label tack down, and that's going to be in black. And that's just like, it's tiny. Look how little itty bitty it's going to be. We're just putting on these little pieces right here and down there, I think. We're going to have some down there too. But go ahead and let it stitch out this satin stitch. And while you're stitching, do something amazing like me. I'm cutting kids, but you could work on another project. Doesn't that sound like fun? Okay, go ahead and put in your charcoal gray. And the instructions say, stitch the boot label placement line. So charcoal gray, boot placement line. And then you're going to get your black leather. Kind of have to just tolerate a little barking when you do sew along with me. And I'm just going to put down my black leather piece. I'm not even going to spray it. I'm just going to kind of hold it there. And I'm going to go ahead and change my bobbin too. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But we're going to have to do the sole too, so maybe I'll just change it right now. I just don't want to see any pin dot of, I just don't want to see the white coming through. So go ahead and put your black in. This is also a pre-wound bobbin. I'm just going to kind of hold this there. I'm not even going to spray it down. And it says trim as desired. I was a little bit close on that one side, because I like to leave 1/8 of an inch. So we're going to trim it as desired, and then we're going to stitch the boot sole, fill, and toe detail. We're going to get our straight curved scissors, which are these bad boys right here. Let me go ahead and pull this towards me. Actually, that looks kind of perfect over. Whoop! Not showing you what I'm doing, am I? It's not very nice. It's a horrible instructional video. I'm just kidding. All right. Let's go ahead and trim the bottom part too. Okay. They're like little hunter boots. Is that brand? I think that's what they're called. There's like boots that kind of look like this. They were like rubbery. Okay, I'm going to slide this on, and now we're going to stitch the toe detail, and that is just going to be thread. I'll leave that black bobbin in there, and I'll switch out as soon as this is done, because after this we are going to stitch the label word spring showers. And I'm going to put in a 60 weight white thread with a fine needle for that. Just because that print is going to be so small, and it's going to be done in, it's going to be done on that little section of leather. So let me go grab my needle. Okay, so here are my Microtex 8010 needles, and here's my 60 weight thread right here. So I'm going to go ahead, and we carry 60 weight thread at the store. So if you need it, we carry the fine line, which is from Dime. I bought a 60 weight set a long time ago. Whoops. No point in that because I'm just going to take this out. Bigger your needle, the bigger hole it's going to make. So if you're going to put thin thread in, you should put a thinner needle. I'll just put this up here for now. And your machine, your threader may or may not work with your 70 needle. I'm so lazy, I always give it a shot. There we go. Okay, go ahead and stitch out spring showers. Oops. Okay, now that that is stitched out, I'm going to go ahead and change my needle back. Let me go ahead. And you know what else? I had left my black bobbin in there, but doesn't really make a difference. Can't see it at all. I'm going to, before I forget, put my white bobbin back in though. Slide this back on. And we are going to stitch out the leaf placement line, the leaves. I'm going to take my white thread out. Change my needle back. And let's put the green in. And this is going to be the leaf placement line. So you need your pine colored felt. going to give my felt a little shot of spray. All right, and I'm going to just put it from here to here. I think that should cover everything. And I think this is probably going to be a, let's see, trim as desired. So you want to make sure you have enough to trim up. All right, now we're going to just trim around that. We are probably about I'd say 2/3 of the way done. So let's go ahead and trim around these leaves. Boop. I'm going to unplug my cord for a minute. That cord just gets knocked around, bumped, knocked around. I'm going to trim these so there's a little bit of an edge. All right, there are the leaves. They look so cute. Wait till you see them in person. Just adorable. I'm going to slide this back on. Next step is, that was step number 9. Step 10 says stitch the flower placement line. The next color we're going to use that matters, well, actually this color matters, so I'm going to use cream. Let me get my cream. For a second, I thought it was just the box with the diagonal lines in it, but it's not. And this is going to be placement for that cream piece of fabric that we put the shape flex on the back of. And get that piece of fabric and give it a little shot of spray to the back. And I know where it's going to go, so I'm going to just stop it there. I'm going to go to the next step, which is the tack down. By all means, don't feel like you need to do it this way. But I can see my furthest flower. And right here, I know it's going to go to the other end. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that down. And let's do the tack down. Just saves you a little bit of time. So you're going to do the tack down and then you're going to trim close to the stitch line. And you want it to be a nice trim because it's just going to do a decorative outline. It's not going to do the satin stitch. All right, go ahead and trim these. I'd like to use my snips, but I don't see them, so we'll just use these. All right, I'm going to put it back in. And the next stitch is going to be the little yellow flower centers. And then don't put that cream colored thread away, because then we're going to do the decorative stitch outline. Okay, so these are the center of the flowers. Those look so cute. Okay, let's go ahead and do the white decorative outline for the flowers. And then we're going to do the bird. And that should be almost it. I love the orange peel with this too. That quilting stitch I think looks so good. Okay, here is the outline stitch. Those are so ridiculously sweet. Okay, we're going to stitch the bird legs and the beak detail. So we're going to change it out to the dark gray. Then we're going to change it to our gold thread, and we're going to put down our bird. So the two pieces you're going to need for the bird are going to be this yellow and this gold. I'm going to put those in my little spray tent. Give it a little shot of spray. Okay, put your gold thread in, and you're going to do your placement line first. And the first piece we're going to put down is going to be the yellow lattice fabric. Then we'll put the solid gold fabric down. So we're going to stitch the bird placement line. My bird's sprayed and ready to go down. We're going to do the tack down, and we're going to trim close to the stitch. Let me lay him down. There's the tack down. And go ahead and trim it close to the stitch. Oh, there are my snips. I just spotted them. He's cute. And then it says stitch the bird decorative outline. Whoops, got to slide my hoop back on. Machine just gave me a sad face. And I want you to put in the lighter yellow thread. Okay, I'm going to put in the lighter yellow, and we're going to do his little wing. Here's our placement line. Here's our tack down, and then you're going to trim, and you want to trim nice and close to that stitch. It's going to do another decorative outline. Okay, trim it. And then do that gorgeous decorative stitch that looks so beautiful. So this is the step number 20, and it says stitch the wing decorative outline. And the last thing you're going to do is you're going to stitch the bird eye detail. And then we are done with this one. But we still have a lot more homework to do. So keep stitching. No sleep for you, ladies. I'm just kidding. I know for me, it's time to go to bed when I start making mistakes. When I start getting tired and, well, you would think that's all the time then. Maybe I'm just always tired. Okay, this is going to be his little eyeball. And we are done. Pretty darn cute. On to boots 3A and 3B. Bye, ladies.